What if I told you the newest unit in Anime Last Stand just made one of the strongest meta combos even more broken? Guts, a deadly new bleed meta unit that when paired up with the godly Denji does crazy damage. This duo absolutely melts everything in their path, and in this video I'll be breaking down both units and showing off their chemistry. And I'll be running a live test to prove why this duo might be the kings of the bleed meta in ALS. First, we have Guts. Now, there's a lot of controversy on him. A lot of people do think he's trash. The thing about Guts is that he deals high, consistent bleed damage. Not only that, on his last upgrade, he is full AoE. But what makes him stand out is not really his DPS, it's really his passives. I want to go through his passives and his damage. Now, some of you have already seen my last video, but this is for the new people who haven't seen him. So Guts does about 3 billion damage combined every 17 seconds. But the thing is, he has Rupture. So we can go ahead and read it. Effect Rupture. This unit's attacks apply Rupture to all enemies hit. Afflicted enemies receive 280% damage over 14 seconds. Every 7 ticks, this effect deals an additional 130% damage, totaling to about 5.4x his total damage. So keep those percentages in mind. Now we can go through his passives. So his first passive is Crimson Omen. When a boss slash mini boss enters his range, he deals 5 times to enemies in range and applies a Mutilate, also deals 15x damage to the boss. I don't want to read this whole thing because I don't want to bore y'all. The cooldown of Outrage is equal to current SPA times 5. Deal 100% damage to all enemies in range every second for 10 seconds. If a boss is in range, increase damage to 150% per second. So I want you guys to keep these percentages in mind. Next passive is going to be Marionette of Steel. When Black Swordsman is not attacking, 5% chance to attack earlier than the current SPA. When this passive is activated, deal 15% current damage and apply burn plus detonation. Also keep this percentage in mind. Finally, his last passive is going to be Deadly Pursuit. Now this one I would kind of ignore honestly because he's not always going to have this. So if we add up all those percentages of his base damage, which is 1.1 billion, it calculates to about 9.8 billion every 17 seconds. The real thing where he shines on is with bosses, as he deals 15x the damage on them. So as you guys can see, even in my last video in the thumbnail I calculated it wrong. He's gonna be doing 147 billion every 17 seconds to bosses. DPS to bosses is gonna be a whopping 8.3 billion. Now, as mentioned in my last video, I did say that this guy is an absolute boss shredder. So I'm not really sure why people are calling this guy Dookie. And now moving on with Denji. Despite this guy being an older unit since he was from a couple updates ago, Denji is still the best godly bleed unit in the game. His multi-hit bleed combined with his full AoE makes him crazy. And that's no surprise to anybody. If you go through the DPS charts, you will find Denji at the very top. So Denji is going to be doing about 737 million every 5 seconds, but the thing about him, he has Rupture as well, so he's going to be also receiving the 280% damage boost over 14 seconds. Not only that, every 7 ticks that effect deals an additional 130% damage. And as I'm sure most of you know, he also brings to the table that 30% plus damage to all bleed type DLT. So that's going to be helping Guts out even that much more. Okay, so his first passive is going to be Dread Aura. I'm actually not sure why they called it that, but he's going to be applying fear to all enemies within range upon placement. This is only once per enemy though. Every 10 seconds, Denji cycles between 4 different types of DLTs. Once he completes a full circle, he permanently gains Rupture. So you guys can pause to read this because it's a lot, but it's just 4 different modes that he's in. But once he does a full cycle on those, he's gonna gain Rupture. His next passive is gonna be Ally Consumption. Every 10 attacks, eat a random unit in range. Upon eating a unit, Denji gains 25% plus damage and the status effect. And if the unit doesn't have a status effect, as you can see, he gains 50+% damage instead. His next passive is going to be Demon Consumption. Every time Denji attacks, he has a 10% chance to consume the enemy, dealing 1% of their max HP, a cap of 500 billion. And then, Demonic Terror is his final passive. You guys can pause to read if you like. So Denji's base damage, as we saw, is going to be 737 million damage. If we add all the percentages, they end up accounting to 485%. And with those calculations, he's going to be doing 4.3 billion damage every attack. Now the thing about Denji is he is attacking every 5 seconds. And by calculating his DPS, he is going to be doing 858 million every second. So why do Guts and Denji work so well together? Here's the thing. We all know Denji has crazy DPS. But the thing is, characters who have crazy DPS typically struggle with the bosses, because you normally just leave that behind to, you know, nukes to take care of that. However, Guts can handle the bosses, as we know he does crazy damage to them. They truly do complement each other's timing so well. Denji shines in like early to mid game, and then Guts kind of comes in like mid to late. But honestly, together, once they're fully upgraded, it is just unfair, bro. Like, they are just doing so much bleed together that I don't even think I could have calculated the damage right. They could be doing even more. I know I didn't really fully calculate all the percentages, and I didn't even take into account on Guts if he has the godly passive. Not only that, you gotta remember, these guys are full AoE. They are hitting everything in their range. I mean, bro, honestly, even the gameplay just speaks for itself. I mean, they're getting stunned and we're in wave 244. The NPCs are absolutely getting bullied, man. It is just unfair. And remember, this is 2 units, bro. In a game like ALS, where everyone's damage is just insane, to be able to do this with 2 units, bro, look at that boss. He just got melted. I didn't even see how much HP bro had. He just insta died. But yeah, honestly, my final thoughts, bro. Guts and Denji together is easily one of the strongest meta bleed duos in Anime Last Stand right now. Like, even just PvE wise, like if you're just trying to complete story modes and stuff, bro, they are just crazy good. I don't know how good they would be for leaderboard runs for like tournaments and stuff. That I'm not too sure about. But for sure, this combination is just a game changer, bro. Let me know in the comments what units you guys are pairing up with Guts. And if y'all think he's stronger than Denji long term, make sure to like and subscribe if this video helped you. I hope y'all have an amazing rest of y'all's day. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.
Carlos, I'm scared. Carlos, I'm scared.
Oh.
Why do I hear Five Nights at Freddy's power?
There's a bone. Collect that bone.
Carlos, I'm scared. Carlos, I'm scared. Carlos, I'm scared. What if he's behind us? What if he's behind us, Carlos? Carlos, I can't see. I don't want to turn behind us.
I can't.